Something did happen on the plane. I thought it was going to drop out of the sky.
Oh, yeah. Hello and welcome back to Chairlift Chatss, the podcast where everyday conversations take flight. Whether you are on a chairlift, in an elevator, on a plane, hitting the slopes, or just living life, we are here to capture those authentic moments. My name is Chelsea Widdicombe and I am one of your hosts alongside my brother,
James Widdicombe. Great to be with you. So let's get into the podcast. What are we talking about this week, Chels?
Well, you start us off.
Okay, so, we're talking about the week that was.
The week that was.
The week that was. The week that was. I was up in Queensland, so that was pretty fun and enjoyable. We're going to talk about the double chair and the auction that happened down at Perisher.
In New South Wales.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. The fire alarm went off about 14 times up there in Queensland, so I've got to talk about that and the weird people that I had a chat with out on the main road. And then a few other bits and pieces that we'll unpack today.
Along the way.
So let's get into it.
All right. North Queensland for work.
Yep.
Tell us about an adventure up
Well, we were up there, yeah, so it was good fun. You know, started off at the airport at 4 a.m, got up there, we're up there just having a couple of good chats with people. And
That's one thing that intrigues me, actually, because I was thinking about it because I knew you were away for work this week because obviously the house was so quiet, is that, we've talked about conversations on chairlifts, and I had this moment in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, James is on a plane. Something surely would have happened on the plane.
Something did happen on the plane. I thought it was going to drop out of the sky.
Oh yeah.
Because we're going up there, and for anyone that's been in an aircraft, you'll know that the captain will come over the speakerphone sometimes and just go, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to come up to a bit of turbulence. If you could please fasten your seatbelts because this is going to be a bit of a rocky ride." Anyways, a rocky ride turns into a near-death experience. And look, thankfully we landed. It was all good. But turbulence is where the plane's driving straight like this, and then all of a sudden it'll drop out of the sky.
Yeah.
And it just kept doing that 4 or 5 times. There's people saying prayers behind me. It was insane. But we got there. And it was a good week away.
Do you know, I've never really had that much happen on a plane, which I'm grateful for. You've had, I remember you saying you went, where'd you go? Europe or something, and you had an emergency
I did.
landing?
I had an emergency landing, and that, I tell you what, when you have an emergency landing, that really puts life into perspective sometimes, because I had people next to me literally talking to me and saying, can you take a photo and send it to me? This is my last moment in my life and I want to send it to my kids. I said, bro, we've got no internet up here.
Oh, gosh.
I said, there's no internet on this plane. I said, what's the point of this? I said, if you're going to die, you just die. I said, look, we're not going to die anyways. I said, it's an emergency landing because it's raining outside. Chill out. So just chillax. Anyways, it's all good. But yeah, so it was an interesting time up in Queensland, and had some really cool chats and had some fun. How was your week?
It was good. I got to do some fun sort of arty things. So I'm a big lover of art, and the Affordable Art Fair in Sydney was on. And what this is showcasing artworks between $100 and $10,000.
10 grand.
10 grand. It is quite a lot, but this is the world of art is just so fun and creative, and art really has the ability to tell so many stories, because by trade I'm an interior designer and decorator, and I have another podcast as well called Holistic Home where I talk about these kind of things in depth. But it's just, I got to talk to so many artists when I was there and had so many conversations with people about their creative process, and it was really amazing. One guy was there from a gallery, and he was doing live paintings right there and then, and it's not just your cartoon style or anything like that. This was proper impressionist painting, and he was drawing a skeleton, and he was talking to people as he was doing it. It was really incredible.
How old was this guy?
He was about 32, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, nice. Well, and what kind of art does he do as well?
Well, he was an impressionist, so he paints when there's a scene in front of you, he paints what he sees. But his style was also kind of modern Gothic as well, so it was lots of skeletons and kind of weird and wacky scenes. I actually really liked it.
Oh, well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, artists are definitely fascinating people to talk to sometimes. I mean, sometimes they're very into their work, and they're always very into their work, but they're You know, you never. They're always painting a picture, so there's always a story behind that picture.
And it might not always be what you seem. And I think artists allow interpretation as well, which I think, in school when you had to write an essay on something and it had to be
Oh, I remember.
It had to be done in a particular style and it would kind of take the joy out of it. Whereas now being in the industry and doing things because people just genuinely like it and find love in it, you find so much more expression comes out. But there was one painting that stood out for me because of the type of adventure that you had this week. And it was a painting of a crocodile with its mouth very wide open.
Oh, well, I do like crocodiles. They're a fascinating creature because they're essentially dinosaurs. But okay, well, I'll quickly tell the story. I don't want to dive too much into this, but I was basically up in Queensland, so there's crocodiles everywhere. As soon as you go a little bit further north, there's crocodiles. So I walked out, I just wanted to check out this beach, and I saw a guy just fishing off the rocks. Anyways, I walked down off this rock ledge and, went to put my feet in the water.
As you do in North
Well,
Queensland.
it was hot up there. I'm like, it didn't look like there was any crocodiles. Like, okay, we're sweet. We're all good to go. Anyways, put my feet in the water, and then I looked to my right, and there was probably...
Can I see the Hollywood sign?
Yeah. There was probably at least 200 crocodiles just
Oh my God.
sunbaking up the other end of the beach. I'm like, oh, well, I might just go get the cool cabana and set it up here and just see if I get a couple of friends to pat. It kind of freaked me out, but it was cool.
What was your reaction when you realised it wasn't just dead?
Yeah, I was just kind of like, I went, ooh, I think they're crocodiles. And I looked a little bit closer and I'm like, yeah, they are. I freaked out, ran straight back up the rock wall and went, okay, that's close enough for me.
I could tell that you weren't there long because usually you Snapchat or send me photos of everything that's going on. I got no pictures.
Well, I probably should have, but that was pretty interesting. But I had a good chat with the fisherman, again, a really cool chat. So apparently he saw me go down and he's like, yeah, I was just waiting for my afternoon entertainment. I said, oh, that's awfully nice of you, mate. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. He's like, well, I saw you and I thought you were a backpacker or something because that's what all the backpackers do. I'm like, well, I may as well be. I'm from Sydney, so that's what,
Yeah,
you go to North Queensland, it's a bit out of, it's a bit out of the blue and it's basically going to a new country, a new experience. So that was an interesting discussion with that bloke up there.
Well, James, I have one thing to say to you, and that is, what is a crocodile's favourite card game?
I don't know, what?
Snap.
Yep. Could have happened.
Could have happened, James. Snap, snap, snap.
Well, okay.
Who do you think you are, Robert Irwin?
Yeah, I could be. Well, no, probably
Actually,
not.
yeah, you could be,
But I'll say, so while I was up there as well in Queensland, we were staying in a hotel like in town and went to bed about 10 o'clock and of course, the fire alarm decides to go off at 1:30 a.m. Some blokes decide to light a cigarette and let the whole building out.
No.
Now, if you ever want to find out about what people are really like in the morning, get them up at 1:30 a.m. and get them out into the middle of the road to see what their feelings are when the fire alarm goes off.
That seems like something that would happen in a movie.
So anyways, we get out there and there's a bloke that's like basically, trying to call reception. I said, mate, they're all asleep. He's just so upset.
Oh, so there was no one there from staff?
No staff. It was 1:30 a.m.
So everyone's evacuating and
everyone's evacuated. The building's we think it's burning down, and we get out the front, and it's basically a false alarm because some guys just lit a cigarette. That's all it was.
Did the first responders come?
Yeah, the fireys came. Fireys came, and they said, "Oh, it's all good. You can go back in now." But going back up the elevator, what a discussion that was. They were like, one person was a lawyer and like, I'm going to sue these people. I'm like, okay, mate, calm your farm.
We're in Queensland. Chill
and then
out.
Another guy had to get up at 6:30. He's like, I'll be lucky if I can get back to sleep now. And I said, mate, just think about this. I said, think about that. You've just experienced something that you probably haven't had before. I said,
now you actually have a story to tell when you go home.
You've got a story. I said, this is what life's all about. I said, yeah, it's frustrating and annoying at the time, but I suppose this is what life is about, and it's about these random discussions that you can have out in the middle of the road when you're in North Queensland. I was just waiting. I went out there. I'm thinking, maybe this is just a sign. We've started a brand new podcast, and now the fire alarm goes off. Maybe this is just a sign to say, okay, this is some good content to share with some people.
Do you know what? I really appreciate your outlook on the whole situation, because something like that could be really annoying, and you were up there for work, so you probably did, need some really good restful sleep. But I think it just shows when things go wrong, again, you can look at things in a positive way and look at things as an opportunity to spread positivity and kindness. So I admire that was your outlook.
Yep.
Or maybe not at the time.
I mean, I got a great. It was one person was actually visiting some family from Brisbane, and she was giving me some really good ideas for restaurants. If you ever go into Brisbane, go see this place, go see that place. I'm well, there you go. So you speak to some interesting people. I mean, so just another situation in life where something's gone wrong, but you turn it into a positive because you're out in the middle of the road. You got nothing else to do. The fireys are still cleaning up, and you've just got to have a chat with these randoms. And
because some guy lit a durry
at
1 o'clock in the morning.
And you can have a good chat with people and find out what their stories are and what they're about. People come out in weird and wacky outfits too. Like what people wear to bed, it blows me away. I mean,
what were they wearing?
Just different,
like dressing gowns? Or?
Yeah, and weird sort of pajamas.
Oh, you know what I bet you saw? Like the hoodies, where it's like a
There was a
blanket.
couple, yeah.
But I suppose was it hot though?
It was reasonably cool at night. It was wind. It wasn't too bad, it was just an interesting experience.
But this,
so.
I know that this wasn't the only alarm that went off.
No, it happened again. It happened twice. I think this was a false alarm, but the second time it was 5:30 in the morning. So a lot of people had already taken off early because it's a mining town up there where I was. So a lot of people had already been up and at it, and then the alarm went off. So thankfully, the second one wasn't too bad. The first one was 1:30 a.m. That's early.
Gosh, that's quite funny actually.
So,
of course, that would happen to you.
But anyways, that's what happened, and then we'll come back to what happened at the airport a little bit later. But I want to dive into the chair auction at Perisher.
That was really exciting. At the Perisher terminal. So from Jindabyne in New South Wales, you can actually get the ski tube or drive to Perisher Ski Resort. And what's really exciting is they have demolished the double chair that was on Mount Perisher, which was a really old chairlift, I believe from 1960s. Anyway, it was a really slow, long chairlift with, obviously in the name, double. It was super slow. So if you got stuck on there with someone bad, you weren't going to have some great chairlift chats. Or you could have had some really good chairlift chats, especially imagine if you like someone and you got stuck on a chairlift with them. What a great scenario.
Especially for potentially an hour or so. You'd have to work out how to get down or... Yeah, but so they're auctioning.
So they're auctioning off the chairs. Yeah. I don't know how many chairs they had, but they made it. I think they were raising money, so it's really cool that they were auctioning it off. And I think they sold heaps of chairs, and because they're putting a new chairlift in there, so it's really a piece of Perisher history that you could put in your garden if you've got your own chalet or ski lodge to put out the front. It was pretty cool.
Awesome. I saw some video footage just on.
I think it would make a nice background for us here for the
podcast.
We didn't get one.
We should have bought a chair. I found it fascinating actually that there was a few. They're holding an auction for. Some like a chairlift essentially, and I think it is a piece of Australian history down there at Perisher, and any kind of money that you can raise to have a new chair down there is worthwhile. But I found that the auctioneer and the people that were down there and the people that were buying, it was all a very interesting process. So there's before the auction starts, from what I saw and from what I've seen in other auctions as well, there's the auctioneer, there's the ushers, and there's the buyers on the floor. Everyone's got their card.
There was a lot of people online too for this one.
And online, of course, yeah.
On the phones.
And the auctioneer's basically there, and he starts the price at whatever it is at the reserve or whatever they're trying to get. And then he was just going around, and he's going, righto, give me $500, 500, 600, and I don't know, whatever it got up to. But then there's ushers on the ground. They're all having these conversations with people okay, so... Righto, you want to go one more time? Look, you go one more time. We've only got a couple of chairs left. There's only 42 chairs to go, so you got to get
you got to get in.
Got to get in early. So they've got a really important job.
They've really got to keep the buzz going too, because I think there's probably over 160 chairs that they had to sell. So I think trying to keep that momentum going, because I suppose the first one is the most exciting and you've really got the buzz. But to keep that going, I think as an usher, being those people on the floor, It's really cool.
Yeah, well,
That's like a movie moment.
it is.
Like that movie, The Longest Ride, where they're auctioning the art.
Oh, great
Imagine if it was
story.
that kind of a situation.
I know, that's
If you
awesome.
haven't seen that movie, The Longest Ride, it's a good movie. It has to do with cowboys and artwork. Kind of a random mix there, but it is really good.
And a bit of a love story where they end up becoming millionaires at the end because one bloke buys. I won't ruin it, but
Because he buys one.
he
piece
buys
of art.
one piece of art, which is basically someone's inheritance. So it's pretty cool, great movie to go out there and watch.
So that's what I always think of now when I
Yeah.
think of auctions.
So yeah, well, I was actually quite fascinated by that auction, and I love auctions. They're just great. There's always interesting people to have a chat to there, and who's
I'm someone
buying
who
and-
will always. I remember driving home from work one day and I saw an auction happening, and so I pulled over and I had to listen in and see what was going on. I just
Yeah.
love it. I think.
Oh, it's great. The auctioneer itself, he's got an important job to keep the flow going. You see some pretty average auctioneers out there that get themselves into positions where, okay, I've run out of things to talk about, and I've run out of ideas on how I'm going to keep this auction moving.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the market in real estate or whatnot when they're trying to move a house forward.
Yeah,
but
real estate, chairlifts, cows.
yeah,
Take your pick.
doesn't matter what you're selling. You've got to keep the energy high and
Keep the energy and the passion.
Keep the people and your staff on the ground, your ushers going up to these buyers, going, righto, throw your next one in, get it going.
Yeah.
So I think auctions are great, and yeah, it was awesome to see those chairs go up for sale and get sold. So I suppose I want to finish on one more topic. So coming back from North Queensland, obviously back to the airport, and this is a Friday afternoon, so there's traffic, and plane was delayed and so on. And anyways, I managed to run into a few people I had to go to Townsville from where I was further up north to get back to Sydney. And in Townsville, it's the home of the North Queensland Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
So for people out there that don't know what the Cowboys are, it's a rugby league team based in Townsville, North Queensland. And they were playing on Friday night football. And they were all yelling and screaming, "Go you Cowboys, come on the Cows." So they're so passionate up there. I love
You were inspired.
I was inspired, yeah. And of course the plane got delayed. And I'm just sitting there having a muffin. If anyone actually go out and get yourself an orange poppy seed muffin from the airport, they are delightful, so good. I'm sitting there having having a cup of tea, and just waiting to get home. Sit down, having a conversation with one of another lady from Sydney who was trying to get home as well, and we're just sitting there talking about the weekend to come. And I said, "Oh, so what do you do?" And she's, "Oh, I'm just visiting family up here." And again, just another airport chat that I just happened to see, waiting in the line.
Just again, as we said before, all it starts with is a hello and a smile.
That's it. So for anyone out there that says that your life's a bit boring, or things just don't seem to, you think that nothing happens, I say, go out there, get in a line at an airport, go through security, whatever it may be, and just have a chat to that person in front of you, behind you. They may not give you much because some people are shy, but just have a chat.
I think, that's going to, I want to finish with this is our random act of kindness for the week. And last week we talked about, helping someone with their trolley. This week, like you said, just talk to someone in front of you or behind you. Something that I think will help you and help others immensely is, say you're at the checkout buying something and you go to ask the person, "Oh, how's your day going, blah, blah, blah." Instead of saying it half-heartedly, look them in the eye and genuinely ask them how their day or how their week's been, and do you have any fun plans for the weekend, or just be genuine.
You can make someone's day.
And it's such a small thing, but it really works.
And it's an authentic conversation that you're having with someone. It's meaningful, and that's what Chairlift Chatss is all about. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that episode. We've loved it as usual. Chels, tell us about the socials and how you guys can take a bit of action and follow us on Instagram and etc.
Yeah, well, we're on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook. All our names are at Chairlift Chatss with 2 S's at the end. So is our email, chairliftchats@gmail.com. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you may listen. And also, you are more than welcome to leave a 5-star review. We would love that.
That would be awesome because we need a 5-star review always.
Always. All right. Thank you for listening. And I've got a quote to leave you all with. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way.
That's 5 stars right there. Come on, people. Help us out.
Until next time.
See you next week.
Bye.